Hello, my name is Kirsty Leach, one of the pain specialists within the Somerset Pain Management Service. I'll be talking about stress and how it affects us all and the relationship between stress and pain. I will explain how to recognise early signs of stress so we can learn various ways to manage it. I will also discuss the benefits of practicing mindfulness, especially in managing stress. In short bursts, stress is common and can be positive, such as when it helps you to avoid danger or meet a deadline. It helps us to get motivated to achieve things in daily life and can help us to meet demands of home, work and family life. However, too much stress and demands in life can affect our mood, can make us feel anxious or irritable, feeling out of control, and may also affect our relationships with others. The pain and anxiety video has more information on what happens when the stress situations continue and lead into anxiety, which can last longer. Experiencing a lot of stress over a long period of time can also lead to physical, mental and emotional exhaustion. This is often referred to as burnout. This can also lead to increase in your persistent pain. It is important to understand why we feel stressed and what we can do about it. I will therefore be discussing both of these areas during this video. Let's look at the slide which shows us what happens in our body. So the effects of the stress response. As you can see, the amygdala in the brain reacts to stress and the hypothalamus releases adrenaline, which makes your heart beat faster, you begin to sweat, your breathing becomes shallower and your senses more acute. This is so-called the fight or flight response, sometimes also referred to as fight, flight or freeze, which can be triggered by the sympathetic nervous system in your brain. This was helpful during primitive times when stressful events were quite specific and usually short-term, such as escaping from a lion or another predator, or when hunting for food. It also remains helpful now, for example, when you're preparing for an interview or public speaking. You can also see the other changes that happen, such as a dry mouth, your pupils dilate, to help you see better. Digestion slows down, muscles tense, all to help you to react to the stressful situation. The other hormone involved in stress response is cortisol, released by the adrenal cortex. This causes increase in your sugar levels to help the muscles give you more energy during the stressful event. After the stressful event has passed, the body's reactions slow down. However, if you can often continue to be overwhelmed by stress, these feelings could start to be a long-term problem that affects your physical and emotional health. So how stress affects the body? As you can see from this slide, long-term stress can have effect on the skin, changes in the gut. For some people, this might be constipation, or others loose stools or IBS, so irritable bowel syndrome. Effect on the reproductive system, hormonal changes, possibly low libido, increase in premenstrual symptoms, lowering immunity to illnesses. You're more likely to catch a cold or have other illnesses, and it may take you longer to fight off any infections. You notice an increase in tension, pain in the muscles and ligaments. It can affect your heart, which due to adrenaline may beat faster during increased stress, and some people may have increased risk of heart problems. So I explained about stress having an effect on your mood, becoming more irritable, snappy. Some people describe loss of short-term memory or brain fog. All of these can also have an impact on poor sleep. So the video on sleep will have some useful information on why this happens and how to improve your sleep. Pain may also cause you to feel stressed as the brain perceives it as dangerous and threatening. Pain also tends to have far-reaching effects in regards to work, studies, hobbies, relationships and finances, and so on. This results in tension, both physically in the muscles and ligaments in the body, but also emotionally. So it can feel like a never-ending vicious cycle. I now want to explain primary and secondary pain, which you may have already heard of. Primary pain refers to what you're experiencing physically, such as fatigue and other physical symptoms. However, the longer your pain persists, the more likely it is to have effect on many other parts of your life. And this is what we call secondary pain. And this often involves a person's thoughts, emotions, memories, and how they respond, both physically and emotionally, to their pain. The primary pain may also affect a person's mobility, hobbies, relationships, and sleep, and further increases the stress response. So although the primary pain may continue, learning ways to manage the stress levels in time will help decrease the impact the primary pain has on the secondary pain. Some people do not feel comfortable about talking about their feelings of stress and anxiety and try to cope as best they can. However, as much as they may wish to ignore stresses or pretend they don't exist, unfortunately, we cannot control the world around us, and therefore will always be situations or people capable of provoking feelings of stress, and this is normal. Keeping these feelings to yourself can therefore keep you in this fight and flight response while your brain thinks it's in constant danger, even when you're safe. This can lead to long-term physical and emotional distress and increased pain. Together with this video and others in this series, such as the managing activities, sleep and anxiety, you will have a more positive result for you in the long term. Now that we understand what's happening when we are feeling stressed, we can use this information to help us to become more aware of the early warning signs of stress. These are essential first steps in learning ways we can manage our stress effectively. Talking about how you feel, talking things through, helps you to release the tension rather than keeping it inside. It helps strengthen your relationships and connect with people. There is an NHS link which has many useful resources which you can look at later. Further support on the pain and emotions video in this series, Rick Hansen explains this well on the link below. So I'm now going to talk about how mindfulness works with stress reduction. So what is mindfulness? You may have already heard about mindfulness as it's used by many people of all ages. So John Kabat-Zinn in Wherever You Go, There You Are says mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way on purpose, in the present moment, and not judgmentally. We can get caught up with thoughts of the past or how we would like things to be in the future, and therefore miss present moments. It's not the events themselves, but how you handle them that influences the effect they have on your body, mind, and emotions. Mindfulness is the art of conscious living. So mindfulness involves bringing our attention and awareness to our thoughts, feelings, sensations, and physical experiences in the present moment as they arise and pass away. Doing so with intention, which includes renewing our awareness should we lose it. Putting past experiences behind us and not pre-living potential future experiences. Living life in the here and now by bringing awareness to the present moments. Not passing judgment or criticism on what we notice as we pay attention. Mindfulness is the opposite of being on autopilot or absent-minded. There are many benefits of mindfulness. If practiced regularly, ideally daily, mindfulness gives us the ability to respond appropriately and with skill to life events and situations, as opposed to simply reacting from habit. It helps us to reduce the unwanted effects of stress and anxiety, manage current physical and psychological difficulties in a new way, increase our ability to remain calm and centered in a fast-moving and changing world. Ideally, our core values, and we feel able to choose to live our lives accordingly to these. Not taking life and its events for granted by enabling us to savor life more fully. Develop a sense of compassion for ourselves, for those around us, and the world around us. Live life with greater happiness, balance, and resilience. We're not aiming to eliminate our stressors, as in many cases this simply is not possible, because some stress is normal. Rather to engage with them differently, and in this where mindfulness comes in. By changing the way we view ourselves in relationship to our stressors, we can actually change our experience of the relationship. Mindfulness can help us reverse the vicious cycle of pain so we feel more in control with a greater sense of well-being and resilience. I will now demonstrate some mindfulness practices. The first one is called the stop technique. Get yourself in a comfortable position, ideally upright, and close your eyes if that feels okay. S is that you have stopped. T is that you're taking time for you. T is also taking a breath. O are all your observations of senses. So first bringing your awareness to what you can see behind your eyelids. Any shapes, light, dark, or colours. Now spend a few moments on what you can hear, the sounds around you, in the present moment and non-judgmentally. Thoughts and feelings may enter your mind. Be curious about what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and then bring yourself back to the awareness of the here and now again. Are there any smells, aromas, non-judgmentally? Now bring in an awareness to the muscles and ligaments around your body. So starting with the forehead and the eyes. Your tongue, is it tight at the top of your mouth, or can you just lower the tongue a bit? Your jaw, is it clenched tight, or can you just part your jaw a little? The muscles and ligaments around your neck and shoulders. The upper arms, lower arms, your wrists, hands and fingers. The rise and fall of the chest and abdomen on the in-breath and out-breath. Again, thoughts and feelings might empty your mind, so not getting caught up in them or judging them, and then bringing an awareness back to the here and now again. The upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the lower body and the contact it's making on the chair. The upper legs, lower legs, feet on the floor. Really bringing an awareness to the here and now again. And the P will be to proceed as we're coming to the end of this practice. You will now hear a sound of a bell, and at the end of the sound of the bell will be the end of the practice. So just starting to open your eyes, bringing awareness to the surroundings around you, maybe having a stretch of your fingers, your toes, your limbs. That's the end of the stop practice. Abdominal breathing. Everyone experiences feelings of stress and anxiety, and they often find that this affects their breathing in some way. It's normal to experience rapid and shallow breathing when feeling stressed and anxious, and this can feel extremely frightening. When the breath is rapid and shallow, there is predominantly only movement in the upper chest, back and shoulders, muscles, and it's very tiring. When we do this, we do not exchange gases effectively and therefore causes an increase in carbon dioxide. This leads to feelings of stress and similar to the fight and flight response we discussed earlier. It is unhelpful physically, causing dizziness, memory problems and others, as well as effects on emotions, feelings, feeling frightened and worried. So have a look at this diagram which shows a movement of the chest, abdomen and the diaphragm on the in and out breath. I'm now going to demonstrate the abdominal breathing practice. It's better to do this in a sitting position initially, as it can make some people feel quite dizzy. Sit in an upright position with your head forward. Close your eyes. Bring an awareness to the breath without trying to change anything, and notice the breath, any movement, any sensations. Now put one hand on your chest and the other one on your abdomen, just below the rib cage. Within the chest cavity, there is a dome-shaped muscle called the diaphragm, which separates our chest and abdomen. When we breathe in, the diaphragm flattens and moves downwards as the lungs fill with air. As the diaphragm moves down, it pushes the abdominal contents down, which forces the abdominal wall out. On the out-breath, the diaphragm relaxes and goes back into the dome shape as the lungs deflate and the abdominal wall flattens. Bring in awareness to the movement of the hands on the chest and abdomen on the in-breath as the hand rises and falls on the out-breath. You can now put your hands by your side if you prefer. Sit with the breath and your natural rhythm of the in-breath and out-breath. Notice any thoughts, emotions, and physical signs without judgment, letting them be and bringing awareness back to the breath, the here and now. After a few minutes, when you are ready, open your eyes. Gently bring some movement to the fingers, your hands and arms, your toes and feet, and have a little gentle stretch. When you become better at practicing the abdominal breathing regularly, you can do this wherever you are. I will now sound the bell again, and that's the end of the practice. This slide shows the benefits of abdominal breathing when practiced regularly and how it reduces the stress levels and therefore helps in many other ways. Thank you for watching and listening. I hope you found it useful.